Hello everyone. I'm going to present to you my poster. For this activity, I decided to create a series of slices in order to make it visually and in order to bring a tool for you to understand better my topic and my research project. So here in the first slide, I'm presenting to you the title of my project, that is Interpretation of Gastronomy Customs, a Study on Experiential Learning. So continuing with this, here I have a general view of my poster. So as I mentioned, I'm going to divide my poster in the different sections that you can see, and I'm going to use extra slices to complement the information. So here I have again the title, Interpretation of Gastronomy Customs, a Study on an Experiential Learning. So to start, our project was developed in a public school in Bogota. So we developed the normal procedures in order to do our practicum. So for this time, we analyzed the curriculum of the class we were working with, and we found that they were working with a standard of oral production. Another characteristic that we found was that they were working grammatical classes, and also it says that they were working with the 4 skills, but in the curriculum was expressed that was oral production. They have 3 hours per week, but for us, for the pre-service teachers, just 2 hours. So for that reason, me and my partner, we provide 8 focus workshops in order to work something different that I'm going to explain in further slices. So we also took into account a needs analysis that it shows us the personal interest of the participants. Okay, so let's continue. This is our research question that guides our research. So that is, how might breakfast family rituals foster cultural awareness in an EFL classroom? This is our general objective, that is to analyze 11th graders' cultural perspective of breakfast family rituals. So what we wanted here was to analyze the students' perspective regarding to culture, but specifically breakfast family rituals. As some of you should know, exists a theory proposed by Patrick Moran that are the 5 dimensions of culture. In the 5 dimensions of culture, Patrick Moran talks about products. So our work, our research project is focused on that category, products. So we are working with breakfast family rituals. Okay, to complement the information, here I have exactly the same general objective that I was talking about in the previous slides. And also I have the specific ones, the steps we wanted to follow in order to achieve the general. So the first one is to acquaint students and their own cultural context. The second one, to determine the learner's positioning toward cultural awareness. Okay? Now we are going to talk about theoretical framework. So the theories and all the elements we used to provide the basis of the project. So here we have 3 main aspects. There is sociocultural competence, behavioral rituals, and task-based learning. Starting for sociocultural competence, we have Sassani 2018. Here, it is proposed that sociocultural competence means having a certain insight into the culture, which tends to function as a frame of reference for its speaker. This means that the person has a background, has a lot of information, that is going to work as a frame of reference in order to act, in order to speak, in order to create. We have another author that is called Corosido 2016. So here it talks about culture-based language learning environment, and the author says that it helps the student to identify similarities and differences that make them work in a harmony way. So understanding those similarities and differences in culture, in our environment, in our classroom, even in our houses, so we can work with that element, the harmony. Okay. So before continue with behavioral rituals, I want to explain this graphic. So here I have a graphic that mentions customs, rituals, and rites. So this is a theory of Snoop 2009 to conceptualize the words rituals, customs, and rites. So here you have to define if your actions are monothetic or polythetic. When we are talking about polythetic is when a group of people have a series of characteristics that allow them to develop an action. Okay, a group of people. Monothetic refers to one person. So there are some characteristics that just one person have in order to develop an action. Okay, so for example, a polythetic could be the customs, like all humans need to eat in order to survive. Okay, so there is a polythetic aspect. A monothetic aspect is what a person eats or how that person prepares something. Okay, what actions in specific that person used. Okay, so now we have right. That is the smallest part of the ritual. It could be polythetic because it can be replicated. Okay, here we have another perspective, so that many authors talks about. We have the sociology that some authors said it determines culture. But also we have another perspective that is anthropology. Here it talks about symbolic values of customs. From anthropology and behaviorism are created those actions or ways of behave that we call them customs. Also habits that can explain cultural forms associated to different groups. Okay, continuing to behavioral rituals. Here we have also two authors. So we have Snatcher 2016. It says family meals are moments to interact and share, while the time the family environment generates a state of welfare. So here is mentioning all those actions we developed in a specific context that have some characteristics that can be analyzed. Finally, we have task-based learning proposed by Bryce 2015 that is related to using typical features or common materials inside the class. Learners can direct the work and directly working with items that they had previously learned. So here task-based learning is telling us that working with features that the student know can help us, can be a benefit, because the students are going to use what they already know, are going to use elements they have already learned. Okay, so to continue, here we have a general view of what type of research we develop. Is a qualitative ethnography during our practical during a pedagogical practicum. In a public school, we developed 16 classes of 2 hours. We select a convenient sampling, and the data instruments, data collection instruments, student artifacts, semi-structured interview, and Likert scale. But I want to explain this deeply. So we select a qualitative ethnography with a convenient sampling. Why a convenient sampling? Because we were working with 11th graders and we were working with every single student from that group. But what happened is that not all of the students hand in all our workshops. So we just 20, 10 per group develop complete the activities, even though we are thinking to analyze all the information. The instruments, as I told you, are students' posters and worksheets that refers to students' artifacts, the semi-structured interview, and the Likert scale survey. Procedures, we have intensive observations, collaboration of the head teacher. This was an important aspect. Developing our classes, we had a negotiated syllabus that the head teacher also helped us to construct that referred to our interest, what we wanted to work, but also what the needs analysis told us. And finally, grounded theory for the data analysis. We have in our pedagogical intervention the 8 workshops in 16 classes of 2 hours. In this, we provided readings on the Colombian breakfast, food, readings and listenings on breakfast restaurant like La Florida. There is one restaurant located in the 7th Avenue on the downtown of Bogota. Modeling the combination in a memory games, so some activities that we developed in the class. We wanted to work a lot with movements. We wanted to make the student, we wanted to catch the student attention. And breakfast club to share breakfast. So that was the final activity. We asked the students to bring their favorite breakfast to share with their partners and also to present. That was a pretty good experience. Okay, to conclude, here I have some results. So these are the general categories: family cohesion, inherited behavior, understanding of context, and experiential knowledge. So to make it visual, I provide to you some slices. So in order to talk about a family cohesion, here we found that 11 participants said that mother or grandmother prepared their breakfast. So in that case, we can talk about gender aspects. Okay. Also, we have some students that said, "Oh no, sometimes my mother, sometimes my father prepare the breakfast." Or others like, "No, as the mother is the woman on the house, she should prepare the breakfast." Here we have aspects related to family cohesion. So we have that we found that family cohesion appears just on weekends. So it is related to breakfast. So they said that just on weekends they have the possibility of having breakfast in family. Because during the week exists a lot of activities, a lot of duties that did not allow the breakfast moment. Here we have okay, so here we have there is no cohesion because maybe dysfunctionality on the families or other aspects. Other about inherited behavior and beliefs. The general belief of the 20 students is that the breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Here we can see that is an inherited behavior, same as the place to eat, ways of cooking, ways of eating. Okay, as I'm running out of time, I want to go to the center point. So let me go to the final slice. There is the results, the conclusions. So we have that the breakfast ritual fostered the cultural awareness mediated by reflection of students' identity.